Okay everyone, what is going on? It's Shark Tank here back again with kind of a discussion I kind of have honestly because recently, as you know, the new Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind DLC trailer came out and it was amazing. There were so many things that they added in that just looks incredible and just looks like such, not really a revamp, but like just an add-in to the base game that it looks incredible. But one of the major things, the major kickers at the end of the trailer, obviously you know it, I know it if you've seen the trailer, was at the end of the trailer, you see who? No one but the man himself, the same man from the end of the Kingdom Hearts 3 secret ending, Yozora from Vyram Rex. You see him in the final world, and it's like what's going on? Like, how can he actually even be there? He's in the final world. Like how can this be? Because like we kind of like think back at the end of the Kingdom Hearts 3 game in the secret ending, okay, Sora uses the power of waking, and then it kind of like he uses it up so much that it pretty much, as far as we can tell, forces him out of, I guess, kind of all of the realms into some other weird dimension where Yozora is in that city. That's what you kind of like imply, right? But now we find out here that nope, they actually meet up somehow in the final world. Now, again, this is more of just a discussion. This is not like a theory. Well, it kind of is, but at the same time, not really. And I'm kind of like really thinking and looking back to how the final world kind of works, right? The final world pretty much is Kingdom Hearts' version of Purgatory, pretty much. It's pretty much the place where if you lose your heart, if you lose your body, if you lose your soul, but there's still like a part of you that still wants to exist, still wants to cling on to some form of life, you end up in the final world. There's nothing beyond that point. It's beyond the realm of light, the realm of darkness, the realm in between, the realm of sleep. It's beyond all of it. This is like the final place. There's nothing beyond that point, right? Now, Sora, he ends up there, but he still kind of has like some bodily forms. You see like he has a form. And Chirithy, who's in the final world, we still don't know how Chirithy kind of ends up there, but it's implied from what Chirithy said that, you know, we may find out later. But with Sora, we find out that pretty much when you go to the final world, you're only supposed to have a heart. That's about it. You don't have anything else. You don't have any kind of body. But we see with Sora that he still kind of has a body. It's just transparent. And Chirithy was implying that was because your actual physical body must still somewhere be in the final world. It's somewhere, and that's, you know, when we have to go get, you know, like the pieces of Sora's physical body to really bring him back together, right? Now, with Yozora, on the other hand, we don't know why he's there, how he ends up in the final world, like what he's doing in the final world, like and how they really meet up. Now, this kind of all then kind of plays into, I guess, kind of like how you really end up into the final world. And I guess with Sora, how I stated before, he still wanted to cling on to life. There's some part of him that really wanted to cling on to life. That and Kairi at the same time, so that's how he was still able to survive. Now, how would Yozora end up in the final world? Well, we find out, you know, at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, you know, Sora goes to find Kairi, and in like the first ReMind trailer, he uses the power of waking to do it. As we see, he ends up back in the final world to go get Kairi, and, you know, Chirithy explains the situation is a lot different. So with Yozora, on the other hand, it could be one of two options as to how exactly he ended up there. Honestly, it could either be one, he died, he lost his heart, lost his body, and he still wanted to cling on to life, and he ended up there in the final world, and you would think that would be the first option, right? And that's what I was kind of thinking too, until I realized, well, no, that can't be the case, or I don't think it can be the case, because he still has his body. Like his whole physical body. So unless he like had to regain the pieces like Sora did to regain his physical body, that could be the case. But I don't think that's the case. I really don't think that's the case, because like, I don't know, like I feel like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me. And that's why it kind of goes into my second option as to how you can enter into the final world. And it's what Sora does at the end of KH3, where he uses the power of waking. Pretty much, to get to the final world using the power of waking, you use the power of waking, you end up in the station of awakening, or you know, like the place inside of your heart that kind of has like the metal glass panes all around, right? And then from there, you can enter into the final world, and Chirithy has said before in the past, Sora did that multiple times unconsciously to get there on his own, but when he did it like that, he's able to go back out. Now, you could say, well, okay, maybe Yozora did the same thing, and that's kind of like the theory I'm going with. But at the same time, I'm thinking again also, that can't be the case, or can it? Because you need the power of waking. And as far as I can tell, you need to be a Keyblade wielder in order to use the power of waking. And as we can tell with Yozora, as of right now, he's not a Keyblade wielder. So in a way, it's kind of bringing up the theory as to, well, maybe with the power of waking, maybe it's kind of like an Ultra Instinct thing, if you know what Ultra Instinct is from Dragon Ball Z. It's a technique that pretty much allows you to unconsciously be able to avoid any attack of any kind of physical form in any way, pretty much. Maybe that's the same way here. Maybe the power of waking is a technique where you don't need to be a Keyblade wielder to use it. Anyone can use the power of waking, right? Anyone can use it, and that's what Yozora did. And that's the main theory, the main kicker that I'm going off of with this. That's what I'm really thinking, because that's the only way I can really think as to how he kind of ended up there, right? And pretty much from there, it really kind of begs the question, why exactly is he there? And I was kind of thinking about that too, until as of recent, and again, I'm not taking the credit for this one. This is actually, I first found this out, like the first person that really brought this up to me, and then other people brought it up after, but the first person that actually brought this up on social media was actually HMK, and he made a very good theory in a theory video a while back that actually has way more validity now that we see Yozora in the final world, right? Now you have to remember, back when Sora first entered into the final world, right? He met a star there. Aside from Naminé, he met another star there that can also talk. It was a full HD cinematic cutscene, and pretty much in that cutscene, right? Sora was talking to the star. The star was like, well, pretty much I'm waiting for someone. And Sora was like, oh, okay, cool. Can you tell me who? And like the star was like, yeah, sure. So he kind of like leaned in to whisper into his ear. We don't get to hear it as Nomura likes to do all the time. He likes to have people whisper in other people's ears so we don't have to hear it. And pretty much at the time, right, we're kind of thinking, okay, either this could be one of the two people that this star is talking about. Either the star is one of the two people, right? It could either be Skull from the time of Union Cross, you know, back then, and maybe like she died and somehow, you know, went into the final world, or, and this was the main person that we were thinking of that could be the case, it just seemed more valid, and that is Strelitzia, who is also from the final, or I mean not the final world, who is also from Union Cross, the time of Union Cross, Daybreak Town, because in the cutscene, back in Union Cross, back in the mobile game, she died, someone killed her, and that's it, she just died off, right? And we're thinking, okay, maybe that's her, and maybe the person that she's waiting for, as you find out in Union Cross, is her brother, Laurium, aka Marluxia, because Marluxia, as we find out in the mobile game, he's also from Union Cross, right? So, we're thinking, okay, that must have been her, right? Well, pretty much like I just said before, in the brand new trailer for ReMind, we now see Yozora. And again, the theory that came up, and again, this came from HNK, he's the first one that I saw that kind of said this theory, and then other people started talking about it, is, okay, Yozora's in the final world, right? What if he's there to get his girl out, the girl that we see in the Toy Story trailer for Verum Rex, the same way Sora is trying to get his girl out, Kairi, the same way. And that star that we see, that Sora talks to, it's not Skull, it's not Strelitzia, it's Yozora's girl. And that's why he's there. And pretty much, it kind of goes from there as we see, you know, like from that point, we then see Sora actually meet up with Yozora, but in the final world, but it's different. It's a starry night sky, and this is the one thing. Nomura is just, dude, Nomura and like the meanings behind like the physical or like, you know, symbols and like the backgrounds and everything. Pretty much Sora in Japanese means sky. Yozora means night sky, and what do we see when Yozora meets Sora in the final world? It's a night sky. So in my opinion, again, this is just my theory, maybe the final world reflects the user's own heart. So like when you go into the final world, it shows it the way the user sees the world itself, kind of, right? That's why in the final world, when Sora goes there, he sees it as a big sky. And, you know, from, you know, the company standpoint, Nomura's standpoint, he did that because, you know, Sora means sky, right? So when Sora meets Yozora, he's in Yozora's version of the final world, the way Yozora sees it. And that is night sky. And yeah, Nomura, like Yozora is, you know, in Japanese means night sky. And that's where they're meeting. Now, how does Sora end up in Yozora's version of the final world? We don't know. And now it kind of goes into another big theory that a lot of people feel mixed on, and I feel really mixed on. I really don't know how to feel about this if they actually do it, but this is definitely a theory that's been going around, and that is the multiverse theory. See, like, personally, I really don't like the multiverse theory. I feel like it's just taking the whole thing of Kingdom Hearts just way too far, in my personal opinion. And yeah, I know the whole point of Kingdom Hearts is that you go to different worlds, but like, now, everything within the realm of Kingdom Hearts, the realm of light, darkness in between, realm of sleep, is all one part of a bigger multiverse. I really don't like that. In my personal opinion, I think it's really just no, like, and I really like when stories like go bigger with the world building, but like, the whole point of Kingdom Hearts is that it's already a huge world building already, and now it's like going to a brand new different building. I don't know how to feel about that personally, but yeah. And I feel like overall, that's pretty much my overall, I guess, kind of like discussion of Yozora in terms of the brand new trailer that we've seen. I feel like this whole discussion is me just kind of like stating like how I feel about Yozora and like how he's kind of there and what he's kind of doing, how can he be there, and how the power of waking kind of applies to him. Because again, like, if what I said is true, then the power of waking is pretty much like Ultra Instinct, again, from Dragon Ball Super, where like, it's a technique that anyone can use. You don't have to be a Keyblade wielder to do it. Now maybe, and I will say this, maybe if you're a Keyblade wielder, maybe you have better control over the power of waking, maybe? But yeah, well, granted, well, I don't know, because like, Yozora seems to be fine, like he has his whole body and everything, but granted Sora has his whole body and everything when he used the power of waking to get to the final world, so maybe it's just something that anyone can use and they have good control over it. But again, it kind of goes back into the whole way of how you kind of get the power of waking also, which they, in Kingdom Hearts 3, they never really explained well at all. But yeah, I mean, like, in terms of that, I'm not really sure too much on that. Again, they never really thoroughly explained it, but yeah. In terms of this overall discussion though, this is just kind of like my thoughts and opinions on Yozora and how he kind of just ended up there and like what he's doing there and my opinions and thoughts on it. But I really want to know what you guys think, so if you want, you can leave something in the comment section down below. Like the video. If you want, you can subscribe to me for more content, even though I'm probably going to make more content anyway because I just love talking about Kingdom Hearts. So yeah guys, this is Shark Tank. Hope you have a great, awesome, and amazing day, and I'll see y'all later, okay? Peace.